Welcome to Reno, Nevada, a beautiful and yet unlikely place to begin a spiritual, social, and economic awakening movement. I'm Richard Flyer with the Conscious Community Network, and I'd like to share some amazing things happening in our region. The Conscious Community Network envisions spiritual awakening and social renewal as the foundation for building a sustainable community economy and culture. And it's happening right here in Reno. If it can happen here, it could work anywhere. Daily, like fish who don't know that they're in water, we participate in a spiritual and cultural crisis. We worship money and status, see happiness in material possessions, are overstimulated and busy all the time. We jet around the world, but may never take a few steps across the street to get to know our neighbors. And we become fragmented into our sub-communities based on political and religious beliefs, as well as special interests, all speaking different languages. A modern Tower of Babel. To break through this quagmire, we need to reweave the bonds of community that we ourselves have fractured by the everyday choices we make in a me-first culture. We need a shift in consciousness to co-create a new vision at a grassroots level. Spiritual warriors like you, who have a heart to be of service, are needed now more than ever to help overcome the divisions within ourselves, families, and communities, ultimately to transform society.
Let's fight ignorance and hate. It's never too late to change fate. An act of contrition, the human condition, by my humble admission. My mission is forgiveness, so turn up the heat and meet me at the graveyard of fear. Water the seeds of good deeds, take heed. The fruit of love is the only power in the final hour. When you're called to task for your past, do a kind act.
Do a kind act.
What I say? Do a kind act. What if I could gather the good, join a team of goodwill, instill the thrill of connecting the dots? It won't take a lot for a chain reaction of kindness in action. Hand in hand, we can make a stand. A field of dreams with goodwill teams today. At the end of this day, ride the wave.
The Conscious Community Network has found a common and unifying language to mobilize and transform communities through the shared virtues of love, integrity, courage, service, and respect. This language is based on what you do and who you are, not about what you believe. If we want an awakened world, we need to start with awakened, sustainable communities right where we live, all over the earth, and connect these to each other. The dream of a community and world at peace with itself has been calling to the heart of humanity since ancient times. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a Christian pastor, called it the beloved community. Dr. Aryaratne from Sri Lanka, and a Buddhist, calls it Sarvodaya. We call it conscious community. Inspired by this universal dream of humanity, the Conscious Community Network has made real progress in making this dream a reality. And like a house with a sound foundation, we've brought together the positive spiritual, social, and economic forces of our entire community.
We've identified 10 building blocks that are a part of sustainable community, and we spent years developing those building blocks. They include the local economy, food, energy, neighbor helping neighbor, helping the least of us, and the spiritual awakening. We will continue to develop those networks. We consciously bring together these networks because we recognize that the problems in our society cannot be solved at the same level of consciousness at which they were created. For example, we have catalyzed a local food system network that has brought together ranchers, restaurateurs, grocers, and consumers, all who are interested in bringing the best of local food to everyone in our community. This has led to new relationships between people who care about food, but also relationships between those and people who care about the local economy, energy, spirituality, health, and community service.
The John Doe Club is the Reno Networks group
core of like-hearted individuals. It's a combination visionary leadership team, a steering group for the network, and a cultural recovery group. If we're to grow healthy, we need to cultivate the virtues of love, courage, service, integrity, and respect. These are fundamental and intrinsic to the Conscious Community Network. In the John Doe Club, we discuss ways that we're living these virtues, and we set intentions in areas that we want to improve upon. Cultivating spiritual awareness of a bigger picture and building strong character are essential to a sustainable community. We grow in this group process not for ourselves, but so that we can be of service to others. If we want peace in the world, we must cultivate it within our families, and then within our community. That is why the virtues are so important, from the inside out.
Our monthly breakfast meetings are a great opportunity to strengthen individual networks. We break bread together and give our network leaders an opportunity to know each other better and to develop solutions within their own network. But we also take the opportunity to come up with solutions outside of our individual networks by bringing together the multiple building blocks so that the leaders of those networks can talk to each other and come up with solutions they could never develop within their own network.
We get together a free concert and a sustainability expo, and the idea is to celebrate the good that's accumulated over the year of the efforts of the conscious community. There were over 30 organizations that took part in the sustainability expo, and they helped to share what they were doing with each other and got to know each other better and help strengthen the community.
Embrace one another face to face. Authentic interaction, hearts open on faith. Mutual admiration gives cause to inspire. Civility with nobility, and teamwork required. Working together toward a mutually revealed goal, sharing all human traditions, inclusive of young and old. A shared spirituality deepens our trust, an awareness of virtues and hope, a must. To dare take a risk in a culture diverse, to be clear without fear, and share in this verse. Artistic expressions of shared timeless truths, our gift to the future, which seems to ring true. Celebrate the good, for one and all. It's time to answer the call. There's no act too small.
Now in its second year, Get to Know Your Neighbor Day has resulted in over 65 separate potluck gatherings and block parties throughout our whole region, with more than 2,000 neighbors participating. Local government, churches, and businesses got involved to encourage their folks to do a gathering. By bringing people together to help one another with common needs and making a difference, we put a face on the person next door and help people reconnect with the larger community they participate in. On any street, maybe next door, there are invisible people who could be on the margins. With Get to Know Your Neighbor Day, all of a sudden, the invisible becomes seen and we all benefit. Last year, we heard many stories of how people's lives improved, and some that were turned around by Neighbor Day. Neighbors found common ground and common needs they had, such as watching each other's homes, children, and animals, and also found ways to be of service to each other. Last year, people were able to offer a hand to seniors who were alone, the sick and hurting, youth in need of a mentor, single mothers, widows, folks with one paycheck away from homelessness. We are asking average citizens to step forward and be a leader on their street, and be a witness for a higher spiritual awareness. By connecting neighbors and others through shared virtues, we can begin to build a solid foundation to solve the community's and the world's problems from the bottom up. Imagine if we each took responsibility to be a beacon of hope and light in our own families, right on our street, at work, and in the community. A ripple effect of love will be generated, releasing a chain reaction that can create a shift in each of our communities and eventually the world. Truly, peace in the world will not be given to us by governments, the United Nations, or others. With God's help, we are the ones that we have been waiting for. Let's weave the web of earth as thousands of villages, towns, and cities are linked through regional, national, and global networks. so that we can spiritualize the world's culture and world civilization. It starts one neighbor and one community at a time.